A dark money group is secretly funding high-profile Democratic influencers. An initiative aimed at boosting Democrats online offers influencers up to $8,000 a month to push the party. Only $8,000 a month? Jesus Christ. Kamala Harris raises and then somehow manages to spend billions in a 3-month presidential campaign, and you're putting up 5-figure, content creator buyout salaries? Jesus Christ. They have to siphon the rest off to themselves. Yeah, I guess it's not cheap paying for the salaries of 50,000 consultants in DC. Oh my God. 8,000 a month for one person is crazy though? Not really, not for this level of... remember that when it was found out that there was that one YouTube channel that was paying Tim Pool and a few other far-right content creators, like, what was like $1 million a year? How much was it? An obscene amount of money per year. It was like $400,000 a month or some shit. Yeah, ridiculous for like one video a week, you know? It's like not like insane. Secretive program aimed at bolstering democratic messaging on the internet, but the contract sent to them from Chorus, the nonprofit arm of a liberal influencer marketing platform, came with some strings, mandated extensive secrecy about disclosing their payments, restrictions on what kind of political content the creators could produce. Let me guess, you can't criticize Israel. I'm just gonna pitch it. I'm just gonna pitch it. Let me guess, you can't criticize Israel. That's my guess. Or probably they felt in some like PR bullshit kind of way, you know, like, you should, criticisms offered to Israel should be done with full respect of the, the party line. Should we send a joint email, or are they just going to send everything separately and hope they change everything for everyone? Lorenzo, a non-binary creator in Columbus, Ohio. Vosh, I do not recommend we take this article at face value. Okay, we're like one paragraph into it. Why? I mean, we have to read it before we can. I mean, in what way? Wired's they put out some good stuff. Admittedly, Taylor Lorenz, I think, has at times demonstrated less than spectacular political Pakman response. You want me to take Pakman over a Wired article? Is your dissent here because Pakman disagrees? I mean, we can take a peek. We can take a peek. Where's your 8K payout from the DNC? Honestly, they would never give it to me. Pakman's on the list, yeah. The influencers in the chat collectively had at least 13 million followers across social platforms. Ultimately, the group didn't really make much progress. Vibe the email, if there's any change. I don't feel strongly about pushing TBH. Aaron Parnas, a Gen Z news influencer who had been called the Gen Z Walter Cronkite. Okay. Posted to the chat. They aren't going to modify anymore. Seems like it's a take it or leave it. $8,000 a month is so little for this kind of buyout. For years, Democrats have struggled to work with influencers. Joe Biden snubbed several prominent content creators after they lightly criticized the administration over its policies on climate change, COVID, Gaza, and the TikTok ban. Content creators who challenged Kamala Harris, including Hassan Piker, a well-known influencer on the left, were similarly unwelcome at campaign events. That's true. After the Democrats lost November, they faced a reckoning. The party had failed to successfully navigate a new media landscape. Look, there's just no... You can hem and haw about Hassan being a fair-weather friend to the Democrats in the best of days, but there is no arguing the fact that Democrats have gotten absolutely dog-walked by Republicans when it comes to cultivating relationships in new media. Like, it is insane that Democrats still think that, like, pitching an idea on MSNBC or something is how you get information across these days. Or these embarrassing initiatives they come up with every 6 months about, like, appealing to young people and their ideas like, well, what if we gave another few million over to consultants who will tell us to, I don't know, whatever next year's version of Skibbity Toilet will be, okay? Or maybe 10 years ago. Like, they're always out of date. Now Democrats hope that the secretive Chorus Creator Incubator Program. Jesus, Umbrella? Raccoon City? Why does this sound so evil? Funded by a powerful liberal dark money group called the 1630 Fund. Sure, why not? Okay. Jesus Christ. We love a political scandal with real lore. Maybe they have a Dummitresk. That would be worth it. The program kicked off last month? That's how long it took for this to fall apart. And creators involved were told by Chorus that over 90 influencers were set to take part. Creators told Wired that the contract stipulated they would be kicked out and essentially cut off financially if they even so much as acknowledged that they were part of the program. Some creators also raised concerns about a slew of restrictive clauses in the contract. Okay, that's what I want to hear about. I should be clear, by the way, I have no problem with the Democrats or any Democrat affiliate groups funneling money into new media influencers. I have no issues at all with that. I think that's cool. I think that ideally this should be done totally transparently. In reality, it's not always that simple. I know that sometimes there's going to be a degree of obfuscation, and you have to be a little realistic about that. But the devil's in the details, you know? But it seems like this was a big overreach with a pithy amount of money for little gain with a bunch of clauses attached. I mean, we'll see. Let's see. Some repeating payments from the 1630 fund, like Olivia Juliana, Lauren Piretra, Brett Adair, Susan Lambert, Sandra Jennings, David Pakman, Leigh McGowan, and dozens of others. The first two declined to comment. The rest did not respond to requests for comment. According to copies of the contract viewed by Wired that creators signed, the influencers are not allowed to disclose their relationship with Chorus or the 1630 Fund, or functionally that they're being paid at all. Dozens of liberal influencers are believed to have been approached by Chorus about the 1630 Fund financing opportunity this spring. They were told Chorus appreciated the work they were doing online, and were asked if they'd be interested in being part of the first cohort of a new program that Chorus was running to help, quote, expand their reach and impact. Why was this being done? Like, what was the push? This started last month? Like, what's the operation? What's the goal? What are you trying to get the word out about? What's the ideal? Like, a little late to affect the election. Just another dart being thrown at the board? Following the initial outreach, many creators expressed concern about some stipulations. According to copies of the contract viewed by Wired, creators in the program must funnel all bookings with lawmakers and political leaders through Chorus. Holy shit, red flag. Oh my God. Anytime you want to talk to... So in practice, anytime you want to talk to like a young upstart progressive Democrat, you have to go through Chorus first. You lose your funding. You get financially dependent on them. And it's like, oh, you're axed out of the... Is that why they're doing this now? Paranoia because of Zoran? They're like, oh shit, Zoran actually got like a big boost from being able to attract the attention and like affirmation of, independent left-leaning online media. So if we preemptively grab up those people and make them financially dependent on us, then maybe we can incentivize them to not do that. Vosh is leaving so much on the table and is saved because he doesn't talk to others in the space. Hey, listen, if you have insider deets, spill the tea, sis. Come on, let us know. If I want to work with another politician, I have to fully collaborate with them. Sendwood creator who was offered the contract but ultimately declined to take it and asked not to be named. If I get Zoran, oh, there you go, and he wants to do an interview with me, I don't want to give that to them. Creators in the program are not allowed to use any funds or resources they receive as part of the program to make content that supports or opposes any political candidate or campaign without express authorization from Chorus in advance and in writing per the contract. Oh my God. For all of this for $8,000 a month, holy shit, like they are demanding everything. Your soul. Vosh, that's a flat out lie. Hello, person who earlier sent the David Pakman video. So your contention is that Wired obtained copies of the contract that was sent out to multiple content creators online and is lying about the contents of that contract, which could be posted and thereby entirely delegitimize the article? Like, I'm not saying it can't happen. Stuff like that has happened. I wouldn't expect that from Wired, though. Like, just they get the contracts, then just flat out lie. They add a clause. They just make it up out of whole cloth. Look, we'll take a look at the Pakman video afterwards, okay? But calm yourself. I'm sure we'll scrutinize it when we're done reading. Don't you smiley face at me. You're messing with powers you can't even begin to comprehend. Smiley facing at me. The audacity. The contracts viewed by Wired prohibit standard partner disclosures, declaring their creators will not publicize their relationship with Chorus or tell others they're members of the program without Chorus's prior express consent. They also forbid creators from disclosing the identity of any funder and give Chorus the ability to force creators to remove or correct content based solely on the organization's discretion if that content was made at a Chorus-organized event. It's so scummy, like on every level. Jesus. The Federal Election Commission declined to comment. You'd think they'd leap on this. The creators have to attend at least 2 Chorus newsroom events per month? What the hell? There's work involved? You're already selling your soul out to these people and you have to go to Sunday Mass in addition to it? Holy shit. Hate working for money? The money isn't for the work. The money is to buy them off. That's crazy. I don't know, man. You got to get in deep with that one. It's like the difference between a policeman accepting a bribe to look the other way and then the guy who offered him the bribe saying like, okay, now pick up my laundry, bitch, and spitting on his shoes afterwards. Like, it's crazy. What the disrespect? Ethical concerns. Says that it's predatory. Da da da. Okay, I think we get the gist. I think we get the gist. Eventually, the creators in the group chat agreed to drop the issues they had. I don't think Chorus is out to screw us, Orlan's, a creator who was offered $8,000 a month, said in the group chat. Some influencers for Chorus Creator Incubator Program were offered as little as $250 per month, according to one creator who declined to accept the deal, while others were offered membership into the Amplifier cohort. Oh, they have goddamn MLM tiers. Oh, boy. See, I'm sorry. No, you're $8,000 a month was what you could make up to once you enter our Diamond Shill program. You need to make 70 videos praising Netanyahu first, or something, type shit. The 1630 Fund has emerged as a powerful funder in democratic spaces in recent years. Its website notes that issues supported by the organization include economic equity, affordable health care, climate solutions, racial justice, voter access, and other essential social change goals. Founded in 2009 as a liberal response to conservative dark money groups and organizations like the Koch Network, Koch Network, I always forget how to pronounce his name, and under Trump it has soared. That's great. In 2018, the 1630 Fund provided $141 million to more than 100 left-leaning causes in order to bolster Democratic support during the midterms, according to a tax filing obtained by Politico. In 2020, the fund distributed more than $400 million. Money like that, and they're offering $250 a month, man. Big money donors, which of course they're not required to disclose. Thank you, thank you. Still one of the top spending politically oriented nonprofits in the entire country. Damn, they're getting into the news here. They're doing investigative journalism. Maybe Wired is the Walter Cronkite of the modern age. Already, creators in the program are creating good content together in a new weekly series called Good News in Politics. Oh, no. Hold on. No, on your time. That's fine. Well, while you figure that out. 6 creators in the program share a collaborative video running through political wins. Oh, it's Instagram. Ah! Okay, it didn't autoplay audio. That's good.
Officially announced that he's running for Senate in 2026. This is a man who has never lost an election since he entered politics in 1986. Let's go.
United Health is facing criminal and civil investigations for their Medicare
Oh, it's exactly what you'd expect it to be.
billing practices.
Homicide rates are hitting record lows in major U.S. cities.
A man who admitted to being a fascist during a debate with Mehdi Hassan was fired from his job.
Oh, it's just them reading out Twitter headlines. Oh, man. Stay for 2 minutes of wins of the week. Follow these creators, bring you hope instead of doom scrolling. Is that really bringing you hope? A Nazi who debated Mehdi Hassan, who, by the way, hey, Democrat-aligned media, do you really want to give clout to Mehdi Hassan? You know what he has to say about you? Got fired and then raised like $40,000 from sympathy donations. Is that really like the slop content? Democrat slop content. Progressive YouTuber and former Media Matters staffer Kat Abugazela, who's running for Congress in Illinois, I've heard about this, was pictured on Chorus's website and included in fundraising decks without her consent. She asked that her image and name be removed and no longer be used for fundraising purposes. It's kind of ironic because I have a feeling that Chorus would prefer that people on their payroll don't interview people like Kat Abugazela, you know? Just a suspicion that I have. Several influencers who doggedly defended Chorus throughout that controversy, including Elizabeth Booker Houston, Ali O'Brien, were involved in membership talks for the highest paid tier in Chorus's new Creator Incubator program. Why do they call it the Creator Incubator program, man? Also, yeah, of course they're doggedly defending Chorus. They've been integrated into the shill tier. What the hell? Oh, here they're talking about Tenet Media, the $500,000. Damn, that's grim. Okay, I guess by like excessive, one might even say kind of annoying demand, I have to look at the David Pakman response to this. The video is, oh, this is from 1 hour ago. Oh shit, this is like, is it drama? Am I doing ongoing drama? Is that what I'm doing now? Is the drama right behind me? We can fly now? They're trying to take us down. Okay, well, I mean, I'll hear a counter.
All right, I was not even going to talk about this because I hate participating in the drama. I hate the circular firing squad that
it's like I'm watching a video of mine.
Often builds on the left. But it's really important that my audience know what's going on. So I am going to talk about it. I was named in an article in Wired yesterday, and the article is about a so-called dark money group on the left called Chorus. And I'm named in the article along with other creators as being part of the group. And since this article came out, I've heard from a bunch of you. David, did you sell out? David, is the DNC telling you what to say? How could you do this to us? I knew back in 2021 when you had the following to say that you must have been getting paid by someone, and here's the proof. And I was not even going to give this the time of day, but my relationship with you, my actual audience, is the most important thing. And so I decided to do this segment. I also was told that other creators, like a Twitch streamer named Hassan Piker, were covering this in ways that don't reflect the reality of the situation and are perpetuating falsehoods about what is and isn't going on. Now, I can't speak to the motives of the people that wrote the article or those that are reacting to it. I can't get in their heads. All I can do is tell you what's going on, and then you can judge and you can I make an assessment of me. Now, I also want to mention, I'm aware that many of the people I'm hearing of aren't even part of my audience. They're doing the, well, now I'm unsubscribing, and they mostly were never subscribed. And so I'm aware of that, but it doesn't matter because I want to make sure my audience hears.
As we can see, I'm not subscribed, so I'm not engaging in any disingenuous posturing right now. I came here with an open heart and an open mind. Hell, chat linked me the article.
From me about this. Now, the most important thing to say is that the idea behind this group is exactly what I've been advocating for years. It's for years I've been saying the left needs to organize independent media in the way that the right has been doing. The left needs to fund independent creators the way that the right does. The right has won even arguably presidential elections.
Again, like the big divide here that's going to keep getting the Democrats shot in the foot over and over is that for the Democrats, they will not tolerate dissent. Like, the Republicans essentially bought out, either explicitly or implicitly, Joe Rogan, basically the number one content creator who does politics. But Joe Rogan right now is criticizing Donald Trump pretty regularly. They didn't demand some kind of like undying contract of fealty where Joe Rogan could never say anything critical of Israel or whatever. They basically gave him creative leeway to do what he wanted, but they still got pretty favorable coverage from Joe Rogan. And there were points where Joe Rogan's coverage of Trump and especially Elon Musk went from like positive chud viewing to glowing. Like there were points, I think, at least in the segments that I watched, where Joe Rogan's coverage of them came across as like very compromised, you know? Obviously he's an idiot in the best of days, but you know, there's still sometimes a difference, right? But with the Democrats, it's like you have to be in ideological lockstep with them. Unfortunately, this is one element of the, like, this is the nugget of truth to the argument that like there is not any ideological unorthodoxy allowed on the left. But it's not the left, it's the Democrats, right? Like the Democrats need you to basically be on board with everything. You're not really allowed to be a dissenter in any issues, not meaningful ones. Would you be okay with things like this if they didn't defend Israel, for example? No, because like the problem is that the entire DNC sucks and sold us the fuck out. That's the problem. It's not just Israel, man. Like that's a big part of it. To me, like continuing to defend and lie to defend an obvious genocide, just like there's no arguing this, man. It's obviously happening, but constantly they fall upon the sword for obscure, you know, economic and political and social reasons that have nothing to do with the interests of their base. Democrats overwhelmingly believe that Israel is committing a genocide. But like the DNC sucks. They suck strategically. They suck ideologically. They're bad at appealing to their base and not their base. They suck at everything they do. So unfortunately, the reason why there are left liberals online who are more popular than the Democrats, you know, who have that energy that they don't, is because they understand where the Democrats fail. And therefore, any attempt to co-opt their energy from the Democrats will fail, because once you take away the criticisms of the Democrats, you take away the authenticity that makes them better. It's like I said with Mamdani and Cuomo, okay? You can try to ape Mamdani's energy as much as you want. It's not possible. And it's not just because Mamdani is charismatic and very good at what he does. He is exceptional as an individual. but it's also because his exceptional personal skills are informed by a set of beliefs that Cuomo can't have and can't pretend to have. And that's it. There's no matter how much Cuomo like hems and haws and pretends to be upset that Mamdani's occupying a rent-controlled apartment rather than like a homeless woman or something, it all rings totally insincere because nobody actually believes that Cuomo cares more about the homeless than Mamdani. Nobody buys it. You can have all the money and you can have all the prestige and all the name recognition in the world, but at the end of the day, politics is about fire. It's about popularity. It's about convincing people. And the Democrats are shockingly unconvincing. They are so bad at the politics part of politics. If the Democrats could have their way, they would automatically win every election, not to be dictators, but so they could be incompetent bureaucrats for the rest of their lives, unmoored from the expectations of regular elections. They could just sit in their chairs indefinitely and fiddle with buttons, sort of make marginal tweaks from the outside. Anyway, sorry, that's my grandstanding.
Because they're organized with regard to online and independent media. They're killing us. We've been so behind. And this kind of support for creators is exactly what I've been advocating for. Now, the article is riddled with inaccuracies, and they're not minor inaccuracies. First and foremost, this group has nothing to do with the DNC. People writing saying the Democratic Party is telling people what to say. At its base, the group has nothing to do with the DNC, period.
The extremely wealthy super PAC that's aligned with the Democrats. This is just how money moves. Of course, something like this wouldn't happen like directly from the DNC coffers. It would be from a PAC. Why would they would take advantage of the obfuscation you would get by running the money through a super PAC. Like that, this means that's like saying that the Republicans aren't aligned with something being backed by like Murdoch or Co-Media because it's technically a super PAC and not being directly funded by the GOP. That's ridiculous.
Number two, I do not get clearance for anything I say. I do not run interview questions by anyone at Chorus. I don't tell Chorus when I'm going to be doing an interview. Not a single segment I have done, not a single question I've ever asked a guest has anything to do with Chorus. They don't tell me what to talk about. They don't tell me who to interview. They don't tell me how to cover a story. There are no restrictions of any kind on my content.
It is very possible that because David Pakman is an exceptionally large content creator, they might have given him a separate contract. They said they obtained copies of the contract, meaning that they got copies from the people they talked to who were willing to disclose. It's possible that David Pakman just got a different contract. He might be getting paid more. He might have less ties than him. It wouldn't surprise me though. I mean, the man's got like a huge number of subscribers. It would make sense to me. Also, let's be fair. David Pakman isn't exactly a loose cannon cop who at any moment could break with the DNC party line. I'll put it that way. He's not exactly a high risk agent. If you wanted to give him money and then not specifically stipulate that he not step against the DNC party line, could probably assume that fairly.
I've never covered a story because Chorus suggested I do it. I've never not covered a story because Chorus suggested I not do it. There is no content relationship of any kind. So what does Chorus do? They run technical trainings, how to produce content, how to make your operation more efficient. How do you take a small shop of 1, 2, or 3 people and put content out on multiple platforms the way
they pay people $8,000 a month to give them classes on how to be better YouTubers? No stipulations. Did you see other people's contracts? I mean, have you seen other people's?
I've been doing successfully for decades. They set up mentorship relationships between larger creators like me and small up-and-coming creators who are looking to do content, which is something I've said for years we need to be doing.
Okay.
They do advocacy trainings. They do media trainings. How do you deal with adversarial media, reporters with bad intentions who contact you? They do legal trainings so we understand how is the right-wing machine potentially going to come after us? How do you organize your business to be protected? That's what they do. And I want to make this really clear, and I know that 99% of my actual audience knows this. Mm-hmm. If this was a group or an organization that required me to get permission before saying things, or fed me talking points, or told me, David, talk about this and not about that, or anything like that, I would never be part of it, period. Anyone who knows me would know that. Now,
I mean, he's large enough that it probably wouldn't really be an issue with him, I imagine. That would be my guess. Um, I'm not even accusing him of lying. I'm just saying, like, his contract might have been different, and I sincerely doubt has been shown the contracts of other people. But the idea that an organization like this would pay out salaries to so many people for no reason other than to improve their ground game, you know? Like, just, oh yeah, get out, make content better, you know? Be a better YouTuber. Probably not.
I'm one of the larger creators in the current cohort. I want to help others grow. I want to mentor people. I want to grow the left media space. That's something I've been advocating for years. And now the circular firing squad is getting going. You look at TikTok, you look at these different platforms, people going after each other, most of it based on misunderstandings or misreporting about
Is that a circular firing squad? It seems to me like an article exposed something that seems pretty shady and also seems right up the Democrats' alley. Like, it's pretty easy to imagine any super PAC associated with the Democrats, the kinds of people who are willing to dump tens of millions of dollars into funding the Democrats through PACs, like, that they would go, yeah, we should, like, get the good content creators to get, you know, grow in prominence, the ones who won't speak out against us. We know the Democrats do stuff like that. I mean, in fairness, all political parties do to some extent or another. I just think that Democrats aren't very savvy about it.
What's happening. Now, let me go to another aspect of this. I've seen messages like, oh, David, when you said X in 2024, that must have been because they told you to. Oh,
I'm out. This is bullshit smearing. Man, what the hell? This is why you can't do drama, man. You can't even talk. I feel like I'm speaking pretty neutrally. I'm not even accusing him of lying. I'm just saying he was probably given a favorable contract. If what he's saying is true, it definitely seems more likely to me that somebody with over 3 million YouTube subs would be given a different, more favorable, less restrictive contract than for Wired to lie about a clause in multiple contracts they received, when we already know there are differences between those contracts, because Wired said that there were some that got 8,000 a month, some that got only 250 a month. So we know these contracts differ person to person. They're not all the same contract. So I you know, it's, if I was a shady Democrat, you know, operation looking to target content creators and, you know, pay them off and make them amenable to me, I would not go after David Pakman thinking he could be swayed or bought with $8,000 a month. He probably makes quite a bit more than that.
oh, David, this explains your take on Bolivia from 2017. Now I get why you said that. Or when you did that interview in 2022, it must have been because Chorus told you to.
Damn, he still got that in his head, though. Because I forgot it, but now I remember his take on Bolivia. That's crazy. That was like that's like deep lore. If you asked me, I don't even remember what it was about. I just remember that there was some kind of contentious take about Bolivia from like 6 years ago. God, I wish I had a better memory, man. I would have the receipts lined up. I'd be like, remember that funny expression you made in that video in 2023 when somebody mentioned the possibility of future funding to Democratic candidates? Very suspicious.
Even if you wrongly believed that I was now completely compromised by my participation in this group, this thing is brand new. It's like 8 weeks old or something like that, maybe 10 weeks old, something like this. So the revisionism of going back and going, now I understand why David, not only are they not directing content today, this thing is brand new. So that's just like impossible. One other thing I want to mention. The article identifies my friend Brian Tyler Cohen as the co-founder of this group. And now
Did I skip over that or did I read that? I don't recall that. Brian Tyler Cohen is, and I apologize, I'm not trying to like flatten here, similar to Pakman with respect to the like toes the party line Democrat stuff, right? I know that Cohen does pretty good like Twitter posting, like he's pretty active on replying to current events or talking about them. I don't think I've ever seen his videos, you know?
He's being attacked as well. His motives being impugned. Brian worked on this as a volunteer. He has spent hundreds of hours for not a penny on this project, solely because he, like me, believes we need this type of organization on the left. They're killing.
I know Deepak doesn't give a shit what I have to say. However, I will say, from my perspective, see, I don't have the subscribe button checked. It's not blending in with the dark mode background. From my perspective, the concern is not, Deepak, that you are allowing a Democrat-affiliated super PAC to determine your talking points or whatever. Your talking points are consistently partisan pro-Democrat. Like, I'm not saying you have no individual personal beliefs or whatever, but like it's pretty easy to know what you're going to say or what you believe on any issue. I don't think your integrity is what I'm necessarily concerned with here. I mean, from my perspective, being aligned with the Democrats kind of innately compromises integrity, not as much as being aligned with the Republicans, but that's just my perspective, okay? My concern here is that the broader allegation from the Wired article is that this is an effort to kind of groom content creators, get them hooked on a nice, easy paycheck with a stipulation. And once they're reliant on that, you know, maybe they upgrade from a studio apartment to a 2-bedroom. Maybe they get a car. They need to make those car payments, right? As soon as they're reliant on that money, even a couple extra thousand a month, you know, depending on what a person's making, that can be a lot, especially to younger people, right? That now it's like, in their mind, it's like, okay, I feel like what the Democrats are doing right now is wrong. I want to interview this young progressive candidate. I want to condemn what's happening in Gaza, but I can't because the contract explicitly prevents me from doing so. And if I lose that money, I'm out the water, you know? That's my concern. It seems like a shady operation to try to stop a trend that's been going on for a long time, which is young people being really, really, really fed up with the Democrats. Like just like young people might vote for them, lesser evilism, but nobody's going out there enthusiastic about them. That's what I'm talking about. So that to me is the concern, more so than any individual's editorial authority.
Us on the right. He doesn't need to be doing this for himself. He's trying to do this to build up left-wing content.
To beat the Republicans, wouldn't we have to embrace Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen as allies? That has nothing to do with the subject of the article, Thralixate. If you just like David Pakman, why not just say that? Like every minute you can say, but change the text so you don't get auto-muted. Say, I like David Pakman. That's fine, man. I'm not coming after you for that. But the concern here is about the influence they're trying to have over the broader media landscape, right? Or independent media landscape. Also, when am I out here saying like, you know, Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen are equal enemies to Republicans in our war against fascism? Come on. I do think that to a large extent they represent tendencies of weakness and ineffectualness within the Democrats that I think hamper Democrats in their ability to resist Republicans, right? But I don't think that's like a deliberate process. They're not Chuck Schumer, right? They're not like evil deep state money men who have been squatting in their office for decades and have close ties to Wall Street and don't give a shit as long as they're, you know, presiding over the financial transactions they're expected to preside over. You know, they're just like non-entities sitting in office or whatever. Pakman is pro-idea. Well, yeah, Pakman's a Zionist. I mean, like you have to be to toe the party line with the Democrats, right? You open criticism of what's happening in Gaza pretty much just like, well, if there is criticism, it has to be done through a specifically like anti-Netanyahu framework, right? It has to be like well, Netanyahu is you know, mishandling or mismanaging or whatever, but fundamental criticisms about the nature of the genocide and the relationships that it's you know, born of and such. I think that for the most part, that's not really tolerated within the Democrats. His excuse is that he only covers American domestic issues. Look, it's fine. When was the last time I put out a segment on Israel, okay? You all know how I feel about what's going on over there. You're all aware of my position. You're informed on how I feel about it. And I feel like if you've been paying any kind of attention to how the previous segments went, you probably have a read on any one of the innumerable bullshit propaganda pieces they put out, and you know how I feel about every new horrific story, every new massacre. You don't need my take on all of those, okay? It's not about that. It's just about, like, I think the reason lots and lots of young people are upset with the Democrats isn't just because young people are errant, flighty college communists who, you know, read one word of theory off a blog post and instantly become wannabe revolutionaries. I don't think it's because every single one of them is like a play-acting, LARPing Bolshevik who has a Red Army hat sitting in their closet, you know, but is too nervous to order pizza on the phone. I think some of them are like that. I think the main reason is the Democrats are fundamentally uninspiring. That's it. They're uninspiring. They do not inspire people. And I think that if there is a project that is trying to make more left-leaning people with a public platform uninspiring, I think that's very bad. And that is what I'm concerned about. I'm repeating myself.
As am I. And so the framing of Brian as some kind of villain in this entire thing, it's just farcical and pathetic. So the bottom line is we need more of this on the left, not less. We need more organization and infrastructure and people understanding how do you build a content machine.
It doesn't inspire confidence, though, that Deepak isn't like criticizing the underlying concept of what I'm concerned about, but is rather rebuking the idea that he personally is controlled. Like his response is that he isn't bound by that contract, but he's not really talking about what kind of impact it would have. If anything, it feels like he's passively kind of condoning it, right?
How do you produce a podcast? How do you grow an audience? How do you distribute it? How do you organize your day? What's your YouTube setup like? The article is designed to attack and degrade. I can't speak to the motives of the people behind it.
And this is just kind of like gross, right? It's not really, we just read the article. It's not really about attacking and degrading. I think it's a legitimate ethical issue. Like, apparently Wired received copies of the contracts. Like, it's not like a smear piece. Obviously, there is a bias to the writing. It's obvious that in writing this, Taylor Lorenz thinks this is a bad program. But that's a fine editorial bias. That's fine. Media isn't neutral. It's not a smear campaign. Treating it like it is comes across as really defensive. Like, they're trying to take us down. That's the title.
So I won't even speculate. My involvement is as I've described it here. There's nothing more and there's nothing less. It's up to you to decide whether you trust a particular creator. It's up to you to decide what sort of structural organization the left should pursue. But what I can tell you is that the circular firing squad is how the left loses. When we start turning...
I really don't think it's the circular firing squad. I think it's an incisive article criticizing what seems like unseemly behavior. Circular firing squad describes like infighting tendencies, but this isn't really that. He keeps saying that because he can't say cancel culture. That's true. He is kind of just saying cancel culture, right? Like he's trying to make it seem like he's getting above it all. Like he's the untriggered one. He's the pragmatic one, rising above everyone else's myopic desire to drag each other into the mud. But it's, I don't think the article can be described that way fairly.
Turning each other over what at the end of the day? So I'm sick of the losing. I'm trying to win. Join me if you also are trying to win.
It's also like, I'm going to drop this without clarification. It's a MAGA sentiment. Rise above the cancel culture. This didn't even happen. But also to the extent that it did, it was good. If you want to win, aren't you tired of losing? Let's win together, not address the meat of the issue, you know? I don't know. Maybe that kind of proves my criticism's wrong. The Democrats are ineffectual. Like MAGA won, so maybe adopting that energy is to their benefit. I don't know. Real patriots know that Deepak would never accept deep state money or something. I don't know. Was this video meant to debunk shit? I've seen a lot of pro-Newsom stuff on Blue Sky running the same win. Do not question the party, just vote harder to win. Yeah, it's a little bit grim. We're backed up against a wall right now, you know. My advocacy for Newsom is in the most, like, conditional possible way of, like, you know, he is a actual demon person. But I guess I would rather him win in 2028 than, like, a double demon? I don't know. But this is barely even lesser evil voting. This is just, like, we are in hell. We're all in hell. We've died. And we're watching Lucifer and Beelzebub and whatever, like they're shooting lava rocks at each other. We're just watching them duke it out right now. I'm just trying not to get hit by the debris, you know? I might have marginal opinions on, yeah, who should win the blood war, but I'm not going to be happy at the end of any of it. Big difference between that and going like, yeah, Beelzebub. Vavash Newsom's so bad on trans issues. Yeah, I said he's a actual demon from hell. What do you want? Is that not enough of like a general criticism of his demeanor? Like when I say that, you think I'm leaving something on the table? You're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's not give the man too much credit. He's also a transphobe. No, I know. Are you still vote blue no matter who then? It's kind of an asinine question, man, especially since it seems like the entire Democratic establishment has dropped vote blue no matter who, now that there are still a bunch of Democrats who won't endorse Mamdani, even though he won the Democratic primary against the, like, Republican-backed Cuomo. Like, who believes in vote blue no matter who? I guess I'm the only one who actually believes in it. I don't know. Look, in 2028, if it's Gavin Newsom and, I don't know, Hitler running against J.D. Vance and Carolyn Levitt or whatever, yes, I think people should vote for Gavin Newsom. But don't you know we're in hell? Can't you feel it? Can't you feel it getting hotter? Can't you feel the temperature rising? You can't keep asking me these questions, man. You have to condition my answers the understanding that we live in hell now, okay? Is that why you're wearing a tank top? Yeah, it's pretty warm today.